I think that's the beauty of jazz is accepting whatever comes out in whatever shape or form and making it something that can translate for you and translate to others.
Hi, welcome to SoundBites from Home, a visual podcast featuring students, faculty, and staff from the Department of Performing Arts at American University. I'm your host, Andrew Brown, and today's guest is Mark G Meadows, a vocalist, pianist, and music director teaching out of American University.
I started taking jazz when I was about 14 years old. When I was about 13 or 14, I played a classical piece at this church. And after performing the classical piece, this music director of the church came up to me and said, "Hey, would you like to play for our church and like be, serve as the gospel pianist?" And I told him, I was like, "Hey, I've never really played gospel before. I can play Beethoven and Mozart and Debussy, but I don't know anything about gospel piano." And he was like, "If you can play classical like that, I can teach you how to play gospel." So went to the church for rehearsals. My dad drove me to rehearsals every Thursday night for like a month. Next thing you know, I'm there playing by ear and trying to figure it out and messing up like crazy, but getting thrown in there. And then after I kind of, had that experience, I began to really study jazz. And I'd say that's when my love for music began. I enjoyed it and I was good at it and I did classical and I did well on my recitals, but it wasn't until I was able to really express myself and play with other people and improvise, which is what I love about music. It wasn't really until then that I really began to fall in love with music.
That's just the way it is. Some things will never change. That's just the way it is. Oh yeah, but don't you believe them? Don't you believe them? Don't you believe them? We gotta make a change.
Classical is all about precision and all about playing it as consistent as you can every single time and not missing a note and playing it with the same phrasing and making it perfect. Whereas gospel, you don't know what's going to happen. And I even remember, I think it was literally my first Sunday, there was a very renowned gospel artist that was a guest. He led a song as a guest in our church that particular Sunday, and I was there on the keys, and he didn't know it was my first day. So he starts singing and looks at me, and I have no idea what key he's in. I have no idea what song it is. I'm as new to this as my first day. And sure enough, I got through the song and it was awful. So yeah, that was like a rude awakening, but I feel like I jumped in head first, and since then, there's little that can happen that's a surprise to me nowadays, because I've been through a lot of surprises in the jazz and gospel and music industry.
Kick off your pen and loafers and take a walk in somebody's shoes that think it's over. Like if you're homeless, bare feet on the concrete. Can't stop and smell the roses, cause all you smell's defeat. Got kinda punny, nothing funny, cause it ain't sweet. When where you eat, drink, and sleep reside in the street. When violence is your any means to gain peace. And popping on your enemies is how it be. When daddies is locked in penitentiary. Daddy's baby dealing with police brutality. Government cheese, cuz mommy don't make salary. Calling on Jesus and think you turn this back. You see it's hard when you don't have options. When you losing hope, remember those who have nothing. Cause you've been blessed from the womb to the coven. But if you forget, ask yourself this often. What would you do?
So you perform with some of the most amazing artists in the 21st century. So I want to ask you, what keeps you motivated in the DMV music scene?
DC always brings me back home, and it's where I was born. It's where my family is. It's where a lot of the connection and the relationships I made with other artists and other musical enterprises, from Strathmore to Signature Theater to American University, Kennedy Center, and whatnot. So I definitely continue to uh, develop relationships outside of the city, but DC, with the strong sense of groove that I think was inherent in the city ever since Chuck Brown, ever since Duke Ellington and before. But the go-go scene here, I think, is a reason why I fall in love with the scene and why I fit well, because I love pocket, I love groove, I love rhythm, I love making something feel good. And that is, I think, what is inherent in many DC artists, and definitely a staple of DC music.
You've been on both ends of the classical piano, the jazz piano, and now you're doing some like music directing, artistic directing stuff. What kind of advice would you give to, say, classical musicians who are looking to come into the career?
Get into it. Like, begin to listen to different kinds of music, and figure out what you really enjoy. Definitely listen to things you're not used to, and stretch yourself, and don't listen to something one time and say I don't like it. Listen several other times, or come back to it a year later, and learn what you love, because I think what you love to listen to is going to be what inspires you the most. So find that different thing that you really enjoy, and most importantly, be fearless. Get to know people in that scene. Go to the concerts or the shows of whatever it is that you're trying to delve into, to see what the culture is like. There's way more to music than just playing the notes and playing the rhythms.
I like that. I like that. A man of many wisdoms.
Thank you. Thank you.
Well, Mark, I'm wishing you the best in all your career adventures going forward. You really are killing the game. I really do appreciate all you're putting out there in the world. And this has been such a fun interview to do.
Thank you. Thanks for having me. And if I can help you guys out in any way, please let me know.